So Isaiah, I just asked you this, but who are you sitting next to right now?
This is my girlfriend of 2.5 years. We're very happy together. She saved my life 3 days ago, so it's been quite the week.
Just a few days ago. Can you take me back? What were you guys doing? Where were you?
So we were camping in Ruby Gulch area between Nederland and Ward. We had already spent one night up there, and so when we woke up in the morning, we made a little day trip to Nederland. We got lunch up there, walked around for a bit, and it started to rain right as we drove back. Pretty light rain when we got up to our campsite. We started putting everything away because we didn't want it all to get wet and stuff. And we could hear thunder. I think we heard two bolts of lightning. And then very quickly after that, I woke up in an ambulance.
So the weather was bad enough that you guys were like, okay, we need to get out of this, right?
Yeah, it wasn't take shelter in the car weather. It was just, put our stuff away, get in the tent so that we can just not worry about it for the rest of the night if we have to. And our friends were supposed to meet us up there that evening, but that didn't happen.
So you guys were just going camping?
Yeah.
Yep.
And about what time was this?
This was probably...
I don't know if you remember this very well.
I don't. 2:30.
I called 911
like
at 2:30, so we probably got back to the campsite 2:10.
And which day was this?
Saturday. Yeah.
Okay.
Saturday at 2:10.
So, tell me the last thing you remember.
The last thing I remember is I was standing pretty close to the tent, folding up some of our stuff. I don't even remember what it was, and just kind of shoving it under a rain fly. And I stood back up, and that is where I cut off.
Yeah.
And then, what's your side of this?
Well, I had just gone inside the tent because we were just about done getting everything packed away, and the second strike of lightning had been pretty close, so I was like, okay, time to get in the tent. It's time to just hunker down. So I made my way over to the tent, and right as I was getting in, I was like, oh, I wonder if my hair's standing up at all. Like, that'd be kind of crazy. Decided not to check it out, just went inside the tent. And there was this really bright flash of light. I don't remember the sound at all. And immediately unzipped the tent and stuck my head outside, because if he was not on his way to the tent already, he needed to be. And I stuck my head outside the tent, and I saw him face down on the ground. And at first I thought maybe he had just hit the deck. That was a really close strike. But I went over to him, and I had been calling his name, and he wasn't responding. So I rolled him over, and very, very clear something was wrong. So, sorry to say it, I slapped your face a couple times. Tried to get his attention to see if he's conscious at all. And he stopped breathing. Checked for the heartbeat, checked for breathing, didn't see either, and started chest compressions and CPR, and calling for help. So after the second rescue breath, he gasped and woke up, and took a couple more breaths and then stopped breathing again. So I did CPR again, and it hurts quite a bit having someone press on your chest that hard. So the second time he woke up, he started coughing, which is a really, really good sign. He started coughing and sputtering, so I rolled him onto his side, into the recovery position, so if he needed to throw up, he could. And I sprinted to my car to call 911. I had 2% battery left, so I was feeling pretty grateful. I charged my phone on the way down to Ned.
Which I told her not to do.
Yeah, you did. You're like, no, we need one phone with a lot of charge. And I was like, no. So I called 911, and one of the other campers, his name is Andy, heard my calls for help, and he came sprinting up that hill to us. And he ran straight to Isaiah, propped Isaiah up, And I came back to him, and I had just gotten a hold of 911 and was telling them the information they needed to know. And Andy and his girlfriend's son, Brady, helped me get Isaiah in the back of my car so that we could meet emergency services at the Peaks Peak Highway. So we crammed 2 grown men in the back of my Nissan Rogue. It's not a big trunk. You guys are kind of shoehorned in there.
I love how we're getting a little product placement from Nissan.
Okay, I love my car. My car is awesome.
All right, okay.
But we booked it down that road and met them up at the highway, and there was a whole bunch of emergency vehicles up there, and the sheriff directed us down to the pullout, probably a quarter of a mile down the road. We whipped around that highway to get down there, and stopped, and ambulances showed up. Sheriff and I were trying to get the trunk open, but I crushed my phone in the tailgate, so we couldn't get it open, but eventually pried it, got Isaiah and Andy unfolded from the back, and on that drive Isaiah had started to mumble and talk a bit.
So I had consciousness, but I have no memory of this.
Yeah, you were conscious. Ooh, conscience, no. And we got you out of the car, and this is when he started asking what had happened. He was wondering if we had been in a car accident. We told him every time he asked, because he asked many times, what happened? You're like, you were struck by lightning. And he looks, no way. There's so many times.
Apparently 4 or 5 times I asked, so what happened? And they told me, you were struck by lightning, and your girlfriend resuscitated you twice. And every time, no way.
Yeah, and the first responders, the EMTs that we rode down with, Chris and Lizzie, awesome. They took such good care of both of us. I heard Chris and Isaiah laughing in the back because they had started him on an IV, and we're just getting him ready for transport. And yeah, they were just phenomenal. Everyone that helped, Andy, Chris and Lizzie, the sheriff. Like I couldn't have gotten, Isaiah's a big guy. That was precious time getting him into that car, and if Andy hadn't been there, like I couldn't have gotten him in the car any quicker. So I feel so grateful that he came when someone needed him.
So, first, that's a lot that you missed.
Yeah. I was just
Out
no
of it.
memory.
Nope.
No memory. And when I start to come back, it's fuzzy. I first remember talking to, what's his name again? I always forget.
His name
I
is
first
Chris.
started talking to Chris in the back of the ambulance. Just him repeatedly introducing himself to me continually asking what happened, what's going on. I was very confused. And as we started to get closer to the hospital in Boulder, that's when I started to become more aware of my situation and exactly what had happened to me. And somehow I was able to remember my mom's phone number when they asked me if there was anyone we needed to call.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because my phone was completely fried.
Oh yeah. And mine was very, very dead.
So which hospital did you go to?
So first we went to the one in Boulder.
Arapahoe and Foothills.
Arapahoe and Foothills.
I think Boulder Community Hospital.
Okay.
I want to say.
Boulder Valley, maybe?
Maybe.
Something like that.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the name. But yeah, the one on Arapahoe and Foothills, which is
Okay.
actually really close to where we are now.
So we got there. They gave me a chest x-ray. They, I think, quickly washed me off or something.
I'm not entirely sure.
It's still a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
And then they almost immediately decided, all right, we got to get them to the burn unit at
UC Health.
UC Health. So very quickly got back in the ambulance and drove up there.
Yeah.
So it was an ambulance ride to UC Health?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then, so when you got to that, what kind of treatment did you get?
Well, so I was in a neck brace, and because they were really worried that I had a C-spine injury, because I was in a significant amount of pain in my neck and back. They took CT scans of my neck, my back. They looked at all the functioning of my internal organs. A lot of times there's kidney or heart issues afterwards, just because when you get struck by lightning, it breaks down a lot of the tissue in your body and super dehydrates you, and so your kidneys have to process a lot of stuff, and sometimes they fail to do that. And so they were monitoring my kidneys, they were monitoring my heart, they put their stickers all over me, and I was hooked up to some machines, had IVs in both arms, just pumping me full of fluids. All of the nurses and Dr. Wagner at UC Health were fantastic. They were all really kind, very helpful. They got everything done as quickly as they could. So
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
it was a great experience there. They have a great burn team.
Yeah.
So then, what's the prognosis moving forward?
I have no permanent injuries, and so, I'm a believer myself. I got to give that to God. I'm very, very lucky that my girlfriend knew CPR. I'm very lucky that the lightning didn't hit any of my important internal organs. It didn't go through my head. It came in through my neck. You can see a little bit of an entry wound. But that's most of the damage that's left over. I'm really stiff, but other than that, it's like I did a back day with really bad form. So I am just extremely lucky and blessed to be where I am right now.
Juliet, what's your takeaway from all this?
What's my takeaway? This whole thing has been really surreal. The morning after it happened, I emailed my CPR instructor, Angie, and I just thanked her for doing what she does and taking the time to teach people these skills. And a lot of people in my class are like, I've learned CPR 20 years ago, I've never used it. And, I learned CPR a month ago and, saved, I don't know if I don't feel comfortable saying that yet, but...
Saved my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. My heart stopped. I would be dead.
So my takeaway is we are just encouraging all of our friends and family and just our community to take that time, make the time to go and get that training, because you may never need it. And I hope that they never do, but if you do need it, you need to be able to act fast and feel confident in your skills. There's never a point when I was giving him CPR that I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure where to start. I just started doing the chest compressions. First I forgot to count, but it just felt like second nature. And so I just feel so grateful for my CPR instructor for doing such a phenomenal job teaching us CPR.
And there's a lot of controversy around CPR right now, because even if you learn it, your chances of actually being able to revive someone aren't great. They're pretty low, actually. But, I mean, when it's someone's life that you could save,
You have to try.
I think it's important. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what have you guys talked about in the days since this happened?
What have we talked about?
What haven't you talked about?
we've talked a lot about how lucky we are. I've
Been doing a lot of praying.
I've told her many times how grateful I am for her, but I mean, it'll never be enough. It's not like we're keeping score, but I mean, I'm glad that I have a long time left to make it up to her. So
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you don't have to return that specific
yeah,
favor.
I would prefer not to do that.
Me too.
But
Yeah, let's make that a one-time thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy to be where I am right now. I'm very lucky, very blessed, very thankful for my girlfriend for saving my life.
Yeah. We've just been spending a lot of time with friends and family. Trying to get our phones fixed.
It's been really great. Seeing all the people that came and visited just makes me feel really loved and supported. And I'm just very, very, very lucky that I am alive, and even more than that, that I am functioning. I have no long-term injuries. Dr. Wagner says that she sees about one person come in with a lightning strike injury per year, and she said that in all her career she's only seen 2 survive. So
Puts it in perspective. Huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Truly remarkable.
Greedy?
It sounds. But did you guys like? Do you go out a lot? Do you get out a lot? Do you camping, outdoor type stuff a lot?
We went
pretty
camping
outdoorsy.
earlier that week. We went camping on the 4th of July at the same campground.
Same area, yeah. So we had gone camping. We came home for one night, and then we went camping again for another 2 nights. So yeah,
I mean, it just sounded like from when you said like, you know, you knew the situation didn't seem like a run, jump in the car situation. That
No.
like you're experienced in outdoorsy type stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, as someone especially for you, Juliet, someone who's experienced being outdoors doing stuff, but then having that extra CPR training, like how important was that for you?
Oh, it's so
or
important.
how like eye-opening was it for you?
It's so important. I used to go to summer camp up in Estes Park every summer when I was little, and we had a little poster in our cabin about being prepared when we're going out hiking and all the things that we bring, and the raincoats and extra pair of socks, and we were taught what to do if we are in a situation where we're above tree line and there's thunder and lightning, and all that seems like it's pretty much common sense. But another aspect of what we had to learn was some wilderness first aid, and just to feel confident and prepared, because you can't have that hesitation in emergency situations, because time, especially in the wilderness, is so precious, because it's not easy. Like, we had one of the few campgrounds that had cell service, so it was really fortunate that we were able to get in touch with 911 so quickly. But time and confidence in the wilderness and your skills are so important, because you cannot have that hesitation. You need to be able to act as soon as possible. So yeah, that's the big takeaway, is if you're going to go into the wilderness, even if it feels tame, even if it's an established campground, you just don't know.
There was no reason for me to get
No.
struck where I was. We weren't above tree line.
We
I
were-
wasn't in the middle of a big field.
No.
I was 6 feet from my tent, 20 feet from the car, like forest all around me.
We had a very small campsite, so there was nothing in my mind that was raising big flags like, oh wow, we really, really need to take shelter. We are not safe in this spot. And it's like, once we get inside the tent, we can just wait it out. There's plenty of tall trees. We aren't the highest point in this campground. We're below the highway. We should be fine. Mainly, we just want protection from the rain and just to take that precaution, which is what we are trying to do. But I guess we had other plans.
Thankfully, she had taken a different precaution previously, about a month previously.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, just have a backup plan, you know?
Would you guys go out again?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I suppose my chances of getting struck again are not very high, so...
Yeah. But we're definitely going to go out again. I mean, we love being outside. We love the outdoors. We're not going to let a really unfortunate accident keep us from enjoying the rest of our lives that we have to adventure. I mean...
I don't know if I'll be able to go to the same exact plot, but...
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go to that exact campsite again, but it's a great campground, so we'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Good.
awesome. Yeah.
Love to see Grady with like pictures or his phone.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'd love to see your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can't really see any damage on it. I mean, I can take the case off. But, like,
Yeah,
it looks totally fine. It will turn on, show you the Apple logo, and then it doesn't go past there.
it's
So,
just been
yeah,
on a little
just
loop.
right back off. So,
Did you take a lot of good pictures from the campsite?
I have a couple on here, but
Yeah, I mean, we made a really good breakfast. We have some good pictures of our egg in a hole.
took a little portrait mode.
Portrait mode, egg in a hole.
But
I don't know.
hopefully we'll have access to those later today. We're going to see if we can get it fixed or not.
So tell me just what happened to the phone.
It was just sitting in my pocket, and
It was not in your pocket when I found you.
so I
Pew.
couldn't tell you how that happened, but
I don't know. I tried to turn on your phone because I was like, maybe I can call from his phone. And I was like, that's dead.
yep,
It was working fine though before.
absolutely fine. Pretty new. Like, it's an iPhone 10, so I probably had it for a couple months. But
I mean, without
just
taking
totally
it to,
fried.
Yeah, without taking it to the iPhone doc, just like tell us what happened to it. Like, why is it dead?
As far as I know, maybe it got a little electrocuted when I did, and
Many volts of electricity.
yeah, maybe a good portion of those billion volts that went through my body went into my phone, and I don't know if it fried the memory or the battery. I suppose it's not the battery because it keeps trying to turn on, so... But
What would you tell the Apple dude who came up to him?
Well, I'm very curious if my insurance covers this.
So I know you cover
I'm
water
sure it's
damage.
probably the first time they've seen this kind of thing. Oh, look, now it's asking to be charged.
Well, hey, maybe
Who knows?
it'll turn on.
Maybe.
But I hope I get it replaced. Hope I don't have to pay for a new one. You-
And then Juliet, do you have photos on your phone,
I
or is
not
your phone?
yeah, not from the campsite.
What about photos from the hospital?
Well, we have those already.
Do we need him to talk about them at all?
His yeah, his mom has all those pictures.
All right. Yeah. So the one that stood out to me, a couple of them. Just can you talk about the thing on your chest? What was that?
Yeah, so the design on my chest in those photos, I believe it's called Lichtenberg figures, something like that. They are basically signs of super high voltage going through my body, and they make little fern-like structures when they like pass through the veins. So I actually have so my brother is a little wannabe scientist. It's actually his birthday today, and he takes a microwave transformer and high amounts of electricity and burns those patterns into wood.
Yeah, we actually have one inside.
Oh, interesting.
And so I can show you that later, but
He had that.
it doesn't just happen to the human body, but like if you basically treat... Sorry, flies in my
No,
face.
you're fine.
If you basically treat anything with a super high voltage, then...
It gets that.
God,
pattern.
that's so annoying. Then it gets that pattern.
Yeah, it's the electricity trying to find basically the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Huh. And then tell me again where the lightning went in and where you think it went out.
So we think the lightning went in through this little spot on my neck. One of my theories, I was
Where,
wearing...
Could you show that to me?
Yeah, I don't know exactly where it is, but
Is it that little brown thing?
yeah,
Yeah,
just
it's right
it's
there.
really, really small. I think lightning is only like half an inch in diameter or something like that. It's really small. And so, yeah, we think that it went in through there and came out my right foot. And they think that because when I got in the ambulance, my toes were white, numb, couldn't feel them, couldn't really move them very well. So they think that that's where it exited my body. But I have no mark on my foot. As far as what's left, the Lichtenberg figures faded really quickly, gone probably within 24 hours of when I was struck.
Yep.
All that's left is that little dot on my neck, and then I have a really faint red line going down my chest here. So
And a little sore.
yeah, I'm pretty sore. My neck and back are very tight. The way they explained it to me is it's like I did a really extreme workout in 1 second, and so my muscles just kind of hate me right now. But, I mean, as far as what could have happened and what usually happens, like, people don't walk away from this a day later and they're just fine. It's truly miraculous that I am doing as well as I am.